So after that crazy run, I put all that money to starting my trucking company. So I got a truck, got a 52-inch trailer, found parking for my truck and trailer through this guy. Keep this guy in mind because he's gonna scam me for over 5 figures later on in this video. Managed to find a driver and hired him on. Mind you, whole time I don't have a CDL and I don't even know how to drive a truck. So what's the next logical thing to do? I had to take this guy on a test drive to see if he can actually drive the truck. So we start dispatching this guy. By we, I mean me and my brother. We taught ourselves how to dispatch trucks in a matter of like 2 weeks. I'm 20, he's 18, and we're sitting in our basement directing a 40-year-old and a 52-inch trailer, telling him where to go. First trip, sent him to Colorado, sent him to Cali, sent him to Texas. Everything was going smooth until it wasn't. So the truck ends up breaking down in Ohio. It's cold, it's 5 degrees below zero. This guy, my driver, he abandons the truck on the side of the highway with 40,000 pounds of cat food that has to be delivered. So remember this guy? So I parked my truck and trailer in his parking lot, paying this guy like $1,800 a month just for the parking spot alone. Since he's been in the game for so long, he has connections to all types of people in the trucking industry. So he eventually helps me find a trucker that flies out to Ohio. They pick up the 40,000 pounds of cat food and they deliver it. He also helped me get my truck back from Ohio to New Jersey. But at this point, I'm already down over like $15,000. Diesel cost, I'm paying $5,000 a month in insurance and the truck wasn't moving, so I'm not making any money. It cost me like $1,500 just to have that one driver pick up the trailer with the 40,000 pounds of cat food. It cost me around another $1,000 to have this orange truck go and pick up my truck from Ohio to New Jersey. Whole thing was just a mess. So back to this guy. So eventually when I fix my truck, I start running my truck underneath his MC, which is just his company in the trucking industry. I'm young, I don't know any better. So this guy asked for $10,000 up front to pay for insurance. I don't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, I guess. Long story short, he steals the money, doesn't pay me back. And if you tally up everything, the truck, the trailer, all the expenses for my truck breaking down and having it shipped back here, I lost around 60K. And that is how I made.
What the hell, bro? What the hell, bro? So many problems. Now I read the comments section before I even watched this video. This is my first time watching the video, by the way. But I read the comment section. A lot of people were like, "Bro, you started a trucking business and you don't even have your own CDL." I don't really think that's the problem, right? And a lot of people who work a job think that you have to know how the job works in order for you to own the business. Not necessarily. For example, when McDonald's first became popularized and franchised, a lot of people would think, oh, you need to know how to cook fries and know how to make the burger and know how to, make the milkshake and whatnot. But really, what blew McDonald's up was being able to monetize their own real estate. So basically, instead of just placing McDonald's in places and the owner of McDonald's would make money because they made the burgers, what would happen is they would buy the real estate and then market out to people who wanted to own the franchise. And so they would rent out the lot that they purchased to the people who wanted to own that specific location franchise. So the owner would be making the money. Ray Kroc would be earning the money, most of his profits from the real estate that the franchise owner was renting from. A lot of people wouldn't know that. If you study business, you understand that sometimes you don't need to know everything about the business. You need to know the business model. And so I think that, and this is just my opinion, but he got into trucking because trucking is an industry where you can make good amounts of money. But for me, I like risk management. I'd rather spend more time creating an asset rather than taking out debt. I'm not sure if my man had all that cash to spend. He said he lost 60 grand. That's not cool, whether you're borrowing money or you actually have the money. But what I do respect is the tenacity to take that risk. But losing 60K up front like that, and you got scammed, you can miss me with that. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like the content.
On my Peterbilt right here, I parked it up a couple of days ago. Reason being is because just these loads aren't paying. I've been checking out the load board, and all these loads, they're paying trash. If y'all know something, a little gig I can get into, put my Peterbilt to work at. It doesn't have to be specifically a flatbed. It could be anything else, that's worth, some good money, because if not, then I'm just gonna park my truck and just figure out what I do. And because economy's kind of trash right now, so we're trying to see what we do. Any dedicated loads, like any freaking, I'd love to do cattle hauling. I'd love to learn some of that. Some low boy work, RGN, some dedicated stuff. Something that's above than what I was doing. I'm not trying to go any lower.
So it sounds like my man is another entrepreneur who's a trucker. It sounds like he is he's working for his own company, or his own self. Let me know, like, how does trucking work in this industry? I've heard that obviously you can work for a trucking or some type of dispatch company, and you don't have to get your own truck. But it sounds like my man got his own truck. Hopefully he didn't get a loan. Again, I don't believe in going into negative equity in order for you to start a business. All right, some businesses you have to do that in. Them businesses ain't for me. I don't know about you, but let me know. Have you ever started a business in negative equity and it became a success? And I'm not talking about a couple dollars, a couple thousand. I'm talking about you being able to live or separate yourself from the business and it's still automated without continuously going into debt. All right. The reason why I say that is because I look at companies on the stock market who aren't in large amounts of debt, because those are the best businesses that I believe are stable, because they don't owe a lot of debt. They don't have to keep going into debt in order to make more money. At what cost? You get what I'm saying? At what cost? I've seen, and I did some research, that these type of trucks, these 18-wheelers, Peterbilt trucks or whatever, they take millions. They can run on millions of miles on this engine, but they cost. The cost, oh my God. Like, we're talking high six figures here. High six figures. You know what I'm saying? Used Peterbilt trucks I saw on Facebook Marketplace was around, like, it depends, how many miles it has on it, of course. But I saw anywhere from like 20,000s, the mid 30,000s, the high 40,000s for like high mileage. But you never know what you're going to get until you get it, until you test it out. But I just would not be buying something that big and then betting on the economy to be doing great in order for me to make money. Because that's what people do in these type of businesses. It's the same thing people do in Airbnbs. Oh, Airbnb, you can make a lot of money. Okay, great. Well, you sign a lease and then you owe the person who owns the property, $1,800 a month. You better hope that you're making your $1,800 a month, and then some, because you got to make your own profit, right? And so you're taking out negative equity, or you're betting on the economy doing great in order for you to make your money. And that's where most people fall. And that's where most people fall short, because they bet on a great economy in order for them to make money. It's better for you to build a business in a terrible economy, because few people survive in a terrible economy. And when it's great, it's just easy. Everybody wins. Everybody eats. Again, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Do you think trucking is worth it anymore? And are you a trucker? Has the industries changed? Has the economy turned and flipped upside down in trucking? Let me know.
Hey, it's real. It's real out here. If they was talking about before that the trucking field is slow right now, it is. And I work for a big company, and I knew the small guys were suffering, but I'm going to be real with you. A lot of us out here starting to feel the ramifications of the slowdown due to the economy. The tariffs. I went to a company, what was it, maybe 3 weeks ago, I believe. It was a pharmaceutical company. Ooh, I had to slow it down saying that word. I'm like, I was correct saying that shit. But I was up in this building, and I'm used to seeing these guys. Cool guys, Indian dudes, really thorough dudes, man. They really cool. And when I got there, I was like, damn. I said to him, why is it so dead in here? Like, it's nobody around. He said, we had to get rid of people. He said, we doing really bad. I said, damn, like bad? He was like, yeah. He said we had to charge. He said, well, not we had to charge. He said we're being charged 150% onto the product. He said because we get our shipments coming from India, and I forgot the other 2 countries they come from. He said the prices is sky high. So when I was like, damn, it made me realize, like, just thinking about that today, I'm like, this is why everybody is at a standstill right now. If the prices are that out of reach, what do you think that the people that we have to deliver to, in order for them to receive their property, or should I say their product, I'm sorry, their product, they have to pay a crazy, ridiculous price. So if they're paying that price, that means it's going to be a slowdown. Because if you was paying, say for instance, $1 something for something, now you paying damn near $7, $8. Come on, dog. Something got to give. Something has to give. When drivers out here are being sent home early, when drivers are being told, hey, stay home today, it's very slow today, we don't have work. These are the signs of the times. These are the signs that are showing you right now that we are in a bad economy right now. Hopefully it can shapen up, start to make some changes, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen from this point on? Who knows? We wake up tomorrow, next thing you know, you don't have a job. You wake up next month, you might got downsized to only working a couple days. You never know. You don't know. It is very, very uncertain. Like, it's the uncertainty just to be able to wake up and say to yourself, if I'm going to be able to have a job next month, next week, tomorrow, you might get that phone call. You never know.
So this isn't just happening in trucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a truck driver literally talking about how the truck industry is slowing down. It's uncertain. This is happening in multiple job industries as we know it. A lot of you know that I work in IT, and the company I work for is being bought out by a bigger company. Hopefully I'd get hired by them, but if not, I do have a plan B, C, D, E, and F. But no, I'm just joking. So literally what I'm doing is I'm working on becoming getting training in a different tech role, right? But the whole point of me saying all of this is uncertainty is caused by the individual. I don't care what kind of economy we live in. There's always going to be somebody who's making money, and there's always going to be somebody who's hiring. It's just a slimmer chance of more people getting hired. Why? Because the strong prevail. And I'm not just saying that. Here's the thing. The people who put in the extra effort, the people who work more, the people who don't get excited, oh my gosh, it's almost 5 o'clock, I gotta get off, right? When you have that type of mindset, you're just training yourself to not put in extra work. You're not training yourself to become more than what you have been for the past couple of years working your 9 to 5. And this is exactly what happens when people get comfortable and then they think that the times are always going to be good, and they haven't prepared. They haven't created extra streams of revenue. They haven't prepared for their job to possibly let them go. There's no such thing as job security. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how long you've been working your job. There is no such thing. It's a false reality that people choose to live in because they believe, because they get a paycheck every 2 weeks, they're bulletproof. We have learned last year in 2025 when the government shut down that even the government workers are not having job security. They're not. And a lot of people blame Trump. Oh, Trump caused it. Trump, made the highest government shutdown record. All right, cool. And there was a government shutdown, I believe, in Obama's presidency as well. You know what I'm saying? Democrat, government shutdown. And at the time, that was the highest or the longest government shutdown in history. All right. So job security, not a real thing. What you can be secure in is your work ethic. You know why? Because nobody can control that. You control it. So if you sit down and, oh boy, don't get me started about how many Americans are distracted by watching grown men fight over an inflated ball of pig leather skin every Sunday, every weekend, streaming for people who don't even know their names, wearing their numbers, knowing the stats of their history of playing the sport. It's insane to me. There's nothing wrong with watching a sport. It's just when men specifically, get so obsessed with the stats of a grown ass man and then end up being in situations like this saying, man, it's slowing down. Man, but your ass still watching sports every Sunday. You care about who's winning the game. You're placing sports bets every week. You're putting your security in something else. It don't even got to be money. You don't even have to be betting or be gambling or nothing like that. You can be putting your attention somewhere else. Where your attention goes, your money flows as well. That's why they got commercials, because where your attention goes, you thought, oh, you know what? I probably do need that. Or you keep seeing the same commercial over and over again. It's exactly why these commercials, during these commercial breaks, have these little jingles that stick in your head. Liberty, 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 liberty. It's all marketing. They want you to have it in your head. So then when you're thinking of insurance, you liberty, liberty, liberty. You know what I'm saying? I can go on for days about that, man. About the whole United States, like not even whole, but like most people in the United States, they, oh man, these jobs, man, it's hard out here, man. You're distracted. You think you work hard, but you work when it's time to work, and when it's not time to work, you don't work. So you just work. That's the reality. And you ain't gonna have too many people tell you that. I'm telling you right now, I am learning from people who are older than me. I'm learning from their mistakes. I do not have to make the same mistakes. I'm learning from my past. I learned from my past mistakes. I will not repeat the same mistakes. I refuse. But one thing I do know, there's no way I'm getting job security by watching sports every weekend, being in front of this television that's literally, one of my mentors call it an EIR, and it's an electronic income reducer. You know what I'm saying? This is why I create videos like this, because I'm creating a product, I'm creating productivity out of consuming content, because your phone can be an EIR as well. All right. If you made it this far, let me know. Put EIR in the comment section down below. A lot of people are going to hate me on that one, but I don't really care. Subscribe if you like the content.
Right now, it's really bad.
Are you an owner app?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the worst thing right now?
The money. The money's not there. I mean, the money. If you're not making money, you're not motivated to work. Because I'm away from my family. I leave. 7 days.
Okay. You got a wife and kids?
Wife and 2 kids.
So what's the plan? What's next? Are we just gonna wait for better rates, or?
And they've been saying this for the past 2 years, and it's just getting worse. Fuel, the cost of maintenance is going up.
And you hold a tanker, so you have your endorsements, you have the experience.
I have the hazmat endorsement. I got all the experience, and we're supposed to be like on the top of the food chain, because we haul hazmat stuff, but they don't appreciate us anymore. I don't know if it's the broker issue, if it's the too many competition. I'm not sure, but I think brokers have a lot to do with it.
Gotcha.
Because from what I understanding is that when they book a load, it goes through 5 other brokers before it gets to us. So everybody wants to get a cut.
Right.
And by the time it gets to us, which we're the one who's doing the job, we got nothing right now.
Okay, so one thing that I want to point out that he said was that he's been struggling like this for 2 years. The industry has been falling for 2 years. 2 years is a long time. 2 years is a long time, no matter what industry you're in. If you haven't adjusted off of what's happening in 2 years, it's his fault. Hands down. If you're in an industry where you are the last one to get fed, it's your fault. You should learn how to elevate. You should learn how to get promoted. And if your job doesn't promote, then learn how to use your skills that you've had at your 9 to 5 and use it in a different way to multiply or to add on to your income. I'm not a trucker. I can't tell you how to do that in trucking. What I can say is you have those skills. And of course, you can take it somewhere else. But as you're getting paid, make money somewhere else using those same skills. So many people stay stuck in the trade time for money industry, right? But the people who are making more money than them are the people who are managing the people who are trading their time for money. They make a salary. And then the people who are managing, they're making less money than the people who are communicating, making the deals, making sure that there's people who actually want to transport those goods and services, and they're just talking, they're selling, they're marketing. And then the people who are communicating make less money than the people who are imagining and making innovative ideas with how to make the transportation faster, how to create the systems, how to create more efficient vehicles, how to create less theft, making inventions about, trackers and trucks. In every industry, you have that ladder. People stay stuck in that trade time for money aspect. And they're like, By the time he gets to us, it's already, it's like his pennies. And it's because, one, people love to stay distracted. They don't want to self-improve. But if I'm being clear, quite frankly, the educational system doesn't teach you those levels either. They just don't. They teach you how to become the best worker. They don't teach you how to become innovative. They don't teach you how to become a great communicator. They might teach you how to manage, sure. Or the job might teach you how to manage, but they don't teach you how to communicate. Few people can use their mouth to earn money. Pause. Okay? Few people can learn how to articulate a conversation and make money from the words they speak. They just don't. The only times that people do this is when they get an interview and they believe they answer the questions correctly. They practice. They hope for the best. They put on a smile, put on a great outfit, and then they get the job and they're like, yes. And that's the end of the communication. They got the job, and then, the next time they communicate is when they want a raise or when they want a promotion. But they're still trading their time for money. There's no way you're going to catch me in an industry that's dying for the past 2 years and not make an adjustment. I literally have been learning last year more programming, HTML code, Java, user interface, learning how all of this works in the tech industry. I was taking a course on it, paying for the course, while I'm working an IT job that had nothing to do with software development. When I saw what Google Gemini could do in 20 seconds, that would take me 2 hours, I started questioning how long is it until software developers aren't needed as much as they are now. So I stopped. It wasn't because I wanted to quit. It wasn't because I thought it was too hard. It wasn't because I didn't think I could get hired. It was because I see what AI is doing, and by the time it's time for me to want to get paid minimum $70,000 a year, it may not be that much, because how often are software developers going to be needed if AI can create exactly what I just asked it and I wasn't even aware of all the things that it coded in 20 seconds? That industry is cooked. Unless they're well-experienced people and well-seasoned people in there, and then they're going to stay in the industry because they understand it the most. But for a beginner like me, nah, I'm out. So what are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like the content.
Truck drivers not gonna tell you this, but I'm gonna tell you, why do most truck drivers quit within their first year? I used to think truck driving was like the easiest thing before I started driving trucks, until I actually started driving a truck and I realized it ain't that easy. So let's talk about it. Reason number one they quit, literally, is because it's dangerous. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Truck driving can be one of the most dangerous careers out here. I'm not gonna lie. People make it seem like it's not. But this could be a dangerous career depending on what field you're in. And honestly, not even what field, but just anything with driving trucks. You gotta watch out for cars, you gotta watch out for pedestrians, you gotta watch out for other truck drivers, you gotta watch out for people in general, you gotta watch out for highways, you gotta watch out for the roads. The tires might blow out on you, you could tip over, the load shifts, and next thing you know, you're sliding. If the bad weather, it's so many dangerous things that could be lost when it comes to driving trucks, or if you're not getting enough sleep. So it's so much stuff that can happen while being on this road, and we don't talk about it, but it could be a dangerous career, guys, so definitely take that shit very serious. Reason number two, your health. Listen, man, when it comes to driving trucks, I'm not gonna lie, like, your health is definitely one of those things where being out here, it can be hard to keep a balance of making sure you stay healthy while at the same time maintaining driving a truck as a career. Because one time you already gotta sit for long hours, bro, and that's already unhealthy. Just sitting in your body for long hours like that, it is not common for most people to do. To be honest, it's not the best thing to do either. Doing this driving stuff, man, it could be the one thing that either makes you a lot of money or the one thing that kills you very early. So just make sure you're not always eating all the greasiness, all the fast food, all that. Man, watch yourself when you're out here. Try to eat healthy when you can. Eat fruit, eat better stuff. Just don't do too much while out here. Make sure you get the proper rest that you can get, and just don't overdo it. That's all. Number three, I'm definitely gonna say just being lonely.
You can be lonely out here on this road, man. Like, this is one of those jobs where being a solo driver could be one of the most loneliest careers. Always on the road, constantly trying to, mainly you're gonna be doing a lot of phone calls. And if you're not ready for a lot of phone calls, bro, that is gonna make it hard for you. And understanding how to adapt to this lifestyle, being inside a cubicle thing that you drive all day and eat and you go out, it's not doing too much, man. This could be a lonely career. So definitely just think about this stuff and make sure that you're able to at least have someone you can talk to, because a lot of drivers need somebody to talk to. This can be a lonely career, so make sure you're ready for it. That's it.
That's crazy, you know, and I respect what he's saying, you know. You're in there by yourself. You got to watch what you eat. I think the most important thing is seeing how other people drive. I've known a couple of people who have gotten into accidents with 18-wheelers, and they were actually truck drivers, and that was it for them. They resigned. Like, I never want to go through that again. You know, and it's a lot of trouble once an 18-wheeler gets in an accident with the car. You know, you got to deal with insurance companies and then possibly you even losing your job. Very risky. Apparently it or at least was high paying, or still is, but it's slowed down. But let me know in the comment section down below. Do you believe truck driving is still worth it? Do you believe it's still worth it getting your CDLs? How much money do you earn if you have your CDL? You know, how long have you been trucking? Are there any bad experiences that you've had? I'm very interested. I have a cousin who is a truck driver. I have another cousin who is a warehouse manager, and he directs truck drivers. He also owns his own truck driving business. I have an uncle who was a truck driver. So yeah, I have quite a handful of people that I do know who were truck drivers and managed truck drivers. And honestly, I was thinking about it at one point too. But I had to question myself about the purpose behind the job. Did I want to do it for the money, or did I want to do it for the enjoyment? And I don't want to do a job just for the enjoyment. I don't want to do it just for the money either. But I do understand that the lifestyle that I want to live wasn't going to be able to be sustained with me being a truck driver. Personally, I want to be able to also travel. And of course, you can do that with truck driving. But I also, I would like to be close to family at times, you know, and a lot of times they go out on the road and whatnot. So there's a time and place for everything, but it wasn't the right thing for me. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think and share your thoughts.
Truckers is quitting the industry. That over the road life ain't it, bro. They not getting paid. They not getting paid. I just showed y'all a couple weeks ago. It's on my page that Freight Miller wasn't even paying me enough money to stay on that road, to stay in that truck. Acme Transport just gave me, but before that, I think in July, around July 4th, July 5th, maybe July 3rd, Acme Transport gave me $700 for a check. I had to get gone. Now, they're saying that there is a mass is a whole lot. When they use that word, it's a whole lot of truckers out there that's quitting because they're not getting paid the money that they want to get paid from being over the road, away from their family, trucking. This dude said he getting $500 a check, $600, $700, $800. Like, nah, people are quitting, bro. People want to be appreciated. They want to feel like that that the time that they putting out over the road is worth it. If that time ain't worth it, bro, then why are you out here trucking, dog? Why you trucking? If you're not getting $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 a check, why you out there trucking? You getting $500 to $200. Man, you better go work a security job, bro. Better work a security job, because if you don't got your own truck, even if you're an owner operator, you're not getting what the owner operators was making 2 or 3 years ago. This is not the truck and go rush, but what goes down must come up. So I feel it. That's why people are staying down in the trucking industry, because they feel like what go down must come up. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that's gonna happen no time soon, though. I don't think that's gonna happen no time soon. But if it do happen on the operators, y'all better be ready, bro, because y'all gonna be the first ones on the front line getting it in, bro. Getting it in. And I might be on the front line too, though, for real. I might buy a truck, but at the end of the day, it's like this, bro. People want to feel appreciated, bro. Like when they out there up on the roads, man, and these companies treat them like bush, like shit. It's bullshit how these companies is not valuing the drivers. Value the drivers. That's all you got to do. Value the drivers, bro.
Okay, so I just want to stand. I just want to stand up and say something real quick. All right, let's address the elephant in the room. My man said, he feels like something is gonna pop. What goes down must come back up. Okay, all right. So if you are playing the game of I hope it goes back up, and you're being treated unfairly or being treated like shit, that's exactly why you're being treated like shit. Because they know you're gonna wait. They know you're gonna wait until you get paid more. They know you're gonna wait until the industry goes back up. So, it's a respect thing. I don't know exactly what happens in the trucking industry, but let's say you're getting treated like shit as a trucker. People aren't going to respect you until you stand up. A lot of the times, this is why protests happen. A lot of the times, this is why, there's what is it called? A, uh, a strike, right? Nurses went on a strike, I think, in New York last week. So there's a lot of things happening in these different job industries, but one thing for sure, and two things for certain, um, make sure you have a backup plan with your income, man. I say it a million times on this channel. You know what I'm saying? Sure, what goes down must come back up. And, truthfully, I believe that, the trucking industry may have slowed down because of tariffs, more money, shipping goods or whatnot. But, I didn't do any extensive research. But if you are in the trucking industry and you do know about these things, about freight, then go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. But like him saying to be patient, he feels like it's going to go back up and not being respected at the same time. This is exactly why these companies don't value drivers. I mean, who would? Respectfully, who would? If somebody is going to stay with you, regardless of how you treat them, regardless of how little you pay them, who would? I see this happen also with like DoorDash. People are like, man, DoorDash is paying less, but they pay more when it rains. They pay more on holidays. They pay more when it was COVID, right? Because they valued you more because there was more business. But you know what? As long as business is good and people are needing them and there's plenty of you, they're not going to value you. You know what I'm saying? So it's all a matter of what are your standards? What are the principles that you live by? Personally, me, again, I've never trucked. I've DoorDashed. I've seen orders where they're super cheap and they cost miles and I need to make money. And I'm like, man, I just want to finish the night. But I always had in the back of my head that I am going to find a different way to make money versus relying on this thing. When I was DoorDashing, I was educating myself, listening to audiobooks, taking courses, educating myself to get in a better position where I can make more money by trading my time or make more money by creating an asset.